AITAH for telling my stepdaughter I don't want to be her mom anymore. I am a female in my late 30s, 36, and I am married to Josh, 40. He has a daughter, Ella, 18, who still lives at home and is in her first year of university. I have been married to Josh since Ella was 12 years old. She was on good terms with her bio mother until her mother got married and ghosted her and her father when Ella was only 11. It broke her so much that Josh decided to give it more time before Ella and I would meet. Once we got engaged, Josh finally introduced me to Ella, and surprisingly we clicked right away. We both loved anime and video games, and we would often play video games together and watch different animes together. When my husband and I finally got married, she was a junior bridesmaid, as I wanted her to be a part of the wedding. She was there for the whole process, and was very excited for her father and me to be getting married. When Ella turned 14, she finally started calling me mom, and we were closer than ever. Around 17, her mother came back into her life, and her father agreed to let her see her mother every month. She still called me mom, but became more distant than she had ever been. At 18, she started calling me by my name. I will not lie, it stung, but despite all that I still treated her like my daughter and called her my daughter to others. The point of all this is to show you how close we were and how her behavior shifted. About 2 weeks ago, Ella asked me if she could borrow some of my body lotion from my room. I did not think twice about it because she has done that in the past, but this time I noticed she was taking a while to come out of my room. I called her name and she did not answer, so I checked on her. She looked panicked and just grabbed the lotion off my dresser and rushed out. I thought it was strange and assumed maybe she was stealing my lipsticks or something petty. A few days later, we were hosting a dinner for New Year's Eve. My husband's parents and my sister were invited over for the countdown. During the countdown, my mother-in-law received a text on her phone and got up from her seat. She whispered into her husband's ear and showed him something on her phone. At first, I was confused but not bothered, until my father-in-law called out to my husband and told him to look at his phone. He did, and his face went pale. He immediately started panicking and asked Ella to talk to him in a separate room. Before that could happen, Ella loudly announced, "Did you know that your wife is a WH*? My mother-in-law immediately showed me the video and started berating me in front of everyone. My sister tried to de-escalate and defend me, but my stepdaughter kept instigating by telling her grandparents that I was probably cheating on her dad. This made my mother-in-law erupt. They tried to convince my husband that I was definitely cheating and that I was not a good fit for him. My husband already knew about the work I used to do and had my back, which only angered them more. My husband's parents left abruptly after a huge argument, during which my father-in-law called my husband a cuck. After they left, my sister left shortly after to give us time to sort things out. My husband dropped Ella off at his parents' house for the night, so he could talk to me and cool down. 2 days later, he brought Ella home and talked to her while I was out of the house. He explained that he knew everything about my past and had always been supportive of it. According to him, she realized she had made a huge mistake. She cried and apologized to him and told him that her bio mother told her about my past. At first, she did not believe her, until she found the tapes. My husband called me and asked if I wanted to talk to her, but what he did not tell me was that he was next to her and had me on speaker. I ended up saying that I did not feel like I wanted to be near her and that I did not want to be her mother anymore. She heard everything and started crying on the phone. She told me she was going to stay with her grandparents for a bit until things cooled down. I agreed, and that has been the arrangement up until recently. In-laws have already started telling people my business and slandering my name because of this, which makes me even more angry at her since she has had every opportunity to correct them but has not. I know she is only a teenager, but I cannot bring myself to go back to the way things were just because she apologized. Please, a little help would be nice. Am I being harsh? Edit. I absolutely did not expect this many comments so quickly. Thank you for all the nice replies and those who actually want to give their thought and genuine advice. I'm sorry if I can't reply to all the comments. I'm reading them all and trying to reply to certain comments in order to give clarifications, but I want to address some things here instead to clear up any confusion. I was 20 when I created my first movie. Yes, DVDs existed back then. I'm confused on how some people think DVD pornos didn't exist in 2010. Ella was able to find the porno online using the info on the DVD. No, I don't know the details on how she did it. Although realistically, it shouldn't be hard to find, as I myself have searched for my content and have found it easily. Her father told me that she had screen recorded one of the videos. I kept the DVDs because I was proud of my content at one point, and my husband had requested that I keep some of the ones he liked. I had never had the thought that my stepdaughter would snoop through my things, so no, I did not burn it or hide it. No, this is not a karma farm or whatever some are saying. If you don't want to believe the post, you can scroll. I don't even know what karma does. But that's besides the point, lol. I will not be posting links to my old movies. I am married and couldn't care less if you believe my post. I do not hate my stepdaughter. I just need time to process things. I am still a human being. My stepdaughter's bio mom is friends with my ex-boyfriend, and he was very involved at that point in my life. That's how she knows about my past. My husband did not tell her. She found out from a third party. Josh and I were dating when Ella's mother ghosted my husband and stopped visiting Ella. Yes, she was 11. We dated for about 2 years before we got engaged. We were engaged for 1 year. During that time, my friends and I got really into Naruto, and were binging the show. We were close pre-wedding. We clicked instantly is a bit of an exaggeration, but she warmed up to me pretty quickly after she and I found out about our shared interest. I will try to update as soon as possible, but I probably will take some time to actually take the advice in the comments. And yes, therapy is an option. Update. Before I start the update, I want to give some context about Ella's mother and my relationship with her. For the sake of the post and convenience, I will call Ella's mother Lori. Context. Lori and I are not on good terms. Back when Lori and Josh were together, I was actually friends with Josh. We never saw each other romantically at the time, and our relationship was completely platonic. After a while, Lori started to feel bothered by my friendship with Josh. Instead of talking to me directly, she started asking around about me. She eventually got information through my ex-boyfriend, and once she found out I was a former porn actress, she flipped out. She accused me of trying to seduce her boyfriend and called me a WH*re and a homewrecker, trashing me to some of Josh's and my mutual friends. Josh eventually broke up with her after she started threatening me with violence, and they became single co-parents to Ella. And just to clarify, I never had an affair with Josh. Around 2014 to 2015, Lori started dating a new guy. Not long after, she quickly moved in with him, exposing Ella to her new boyfriend against Josh's wishes. Lori's boyfriend was extremely sketchy, and because of that, Josh constantly argued with her about Ella's safety around him. Josh would often threaten to keep Ella away from Lori, and after each threat, Josh would not hear back from Lori for weeks, despite Ella's eagerness to see her mom. Even after all the boundaries Lori crossed, Josh stayed faithful to his promise not to introduce me to Ella until we were engaged. When we finally did meet, Ella and I became close. This angered Lori, as she did not want a homewrecker in her daughter's life. She also resented the fact that Josh proposed to me after 2 years of dating, while he never proposed to her during all their years together. One day, while picking Ella up from our home, she started an argument with Josh. The argument quickly turned violent, and she smacked him in the face. Josh snapped and told her she was not allowed to come to his house again, or he would call the police. Lori left angrily and decided to leave Ella at our house instead of picking her up as planned. When Josh tried to contact her later, he realized he was blocked everywhere. Months later, he found out that she had secretly married her sketchy boyfriend without informing anyone. Even though Josh's messages would not go through, Ella would sometimes reach out to her mother and actually get a response. Despite that, her mother never made an effort to meet with her until 2024, which is when my husband started setting up dates so that her mother could see her again. Now that the context is out of the way, here is what happened recently. Updates. My husband spoke to Lori about her role in all of this. Many commenters pointed out that Ella was being influenced by her mother, which turned out to be true. Lori admitted to my husband that she told Ella I was cheating on him. She also told Ella about my past to sell the idea that I sleep around a lot. My husband was incredibly upset and called her miserable and insecure. He apparently unleashed hell on her, and she blocked him once again. My stepdaughter is living at home again. She showed up at our door with a handwritten note apologizing to me for everything. Even though I was still very hurt about her New Year's stunt, I could not help but feel a bittersweet emotion that made me cry hard. In the note, she talked about all the feelings she had kept in for so long. She wrote about how she cried when she found out I was cheating on her dad. She wrote about how she mourned the end of our relationship and how upset she was for her father, going on about how she was stupid to believe her mother. She also wrote that she always loved me, but felt like, with her mother in her life, she was forced to choose. Even though she thought of me as her real mother at heart, she felt like she should side with her mom because she is blood. I asked her to explain the note to me, and together with my husband, we sat down and talked. It was extremely emotional for all of us, and even my husband started tearing up. Being able to finally cry and tell her how deeply her distance hurt me felt relieving. It went better than I imagined, and I no longer felt anger toward her. I still had some leftover resentment, and I will not pretend otherwise, but I felt good about the conversation. She stayed the night, and the next morning, things were a little awkward but tolerable. After a day of awkwardness, we had another conversation about her mother. She told me she did not want to cut her mother off completely, but she planned to distance herself for a while. I brought up family therapy, as some of you suggested, but she told me it was not something she was interested in, which I respected. We are currently on awkward but civil speaking terms. I am not sure things will ever be the same, but I am optimistic that they could improve. 3. I reached out to Josh's parents this morning with Josh beside me on the phone. They apologized in a strange, half-hearted way. They said they do not agree with my past, but they did apologize for saying I was cheating on my husband. Josh's dad also apologized to Josh for using hurtful words toward him. They never apologized for calling me degrading names, which irritated me, but for now, I will take it as a win. A lot of comments were bashing Josh for how he handled the phone call. I wasn't extremely upset about it before, but after reading a lot of comments I did kind of realize what a jerk move it was. I spoke to him about it, and he apologized. He thought it would be wise to let Ella hear the consequences of her actions, but did not expect me to say I didn't want to be her mother anymore. I forgave him, as he did what he thought was best at the time, and honestly, I had also made a huge mistake by saying I didn't want to be Ella's mother anymore. I signed up for the role when I got married to her father. So I don't and will not hold that brief moment against him when I was guilty of a mistake as well. But honestly, that's it. I try to give enough context so things would not be too confusing. I apologize for the grammatical mistakes in my last post, and probably this post. I'm trying not to use any AI for the editing, so it won't be perfect. I am not sure there will be anything else to update after this. But thank you to everyone who made it this far, and thank you to all the people who took an interest in my life. Smiley face. If you made it to the end, thank you for listening. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, but remember, this is a story of real people and real pain. Take care, and thank you for listening.